All righty. I think we're live now. Awesome. So excited to have you, and I'll introduce you properly in a minute. But hi, everyone, and welcome. I'm Lindsay Benitez, founder of Lindsay B Coaching, and a certified coach and speaker with a mission to empower confident and authentic leaders to redefine what success means to them and to actively design their dream careers and lives. In this LinkedIn Live series, I'm bringing in fellow founders, first generation trailblazers, and incredible leaders who have inspired me throughout my journey that I know will inspire you. And my guest today is Carly Healy, who is all three, a fellow founder, first gen to graduate from college in her family, and just an incredible leader that you need to know if you don't already. But before I introduce you officially, Carly, and read your bio, would love to hear, how are you feeling? And remember, you can't say you're good, you're fine, or you're busy, because everybody says that. And I really want to know, how are you feeling?
Thank you for asking, and thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and I'm feeling excited. It's open enrollment season right around the corner. This happens to be just a really rewarding time of year for Marina Wellness. I know we've got a lot of HR friends that are out there looking to make this time of year a little bit easier, and I'm just excited to be a resource for all of our friends.
I love that you said that you're excited for open enrollment, because I know our HR friends are probably not that excited for open enrollment. I don't miss that time of year, but thankfully I always had a partner like you. So I actually worked with Carly. We were trying to figure out the time frame. You have emails from us like back in 2015,
Right.
but Carly is the amazing founder of Merino Wellness and is a workplace wellness expert with over 15 years of experience. She's helped 1,600 plus organizations. I need to talk about that in a minute because that's amazing. 1,600 organizations design programs rooted in the 8 dimensions of wellness, improving mental health, reducing stress, and fostering thriving workplace cultures. So I had the privilege of partnering with Carly and her company back in the day. And I worked for an agency, and if anyone from Horizon Media is watching this, you probably recognize Carly because she was your favorite person to walk through the doors. And we had massage days, we had meditation days. You really helped us figure out, what does wellness even mean for us? And how do we stay on the best places to work list, which we did year over year. But I'd love to hear from you. Like, in those early days, what really brought you to focus on wellness specifically?
Yeah, so I started my career as the wellness associate director for NBC Universal. I worked for a vendor that provided services on site there, and it was really fun to work in a large organization with big resources and a lot of built environment to deliver wellness programs. But then I soon wanted to make a bigger impact, so I moved into a public health role where I worked to prevent childhood obesity and to increase physical activity levels across all of LA County, which is comprised of over 88 cities, for those of you that didn't know. And then I started to figure, how can all of these resources be available to big companies and low income communities, but not available to your average workplace? So I started consulting, and that's where Marina Wellness was born. And yeah, it really started bootstrapped with me being the wellness specialist, the fitness instructor, the smoothie maker, the health coach, which was where your and I relationship started many, many years ago. And so it's now evolved into a office wellness marketplace where we have dozens and dozens of professional wellness vendors in our marketplace, with our team of internal wellness specialists kind of guiding our HR partners on implementing those population health programs, really casting a large net and being very strategic with wellness strategy for employees and employer groups.
Yeah, love that. And we're not really sure how we met, but we know we've known each other for a long time. And Horizon was one of your early clients.
Yep.
So you shared a story with me that, if you don't mind sharing, I loved to hear,
Right.
especially as a very new founder where, we keep being told you got to fake it till you make it, which I don't really love. We
Right.
make it till we make it, and
Yep.
we figure it out, and we actively move. You shared a story with me that I had no idea, as your partner, like
Yes.
you were coming in to
Oh,
do
yeah.
a wellness event. We had a wellness fair. You were
Yep.
doing smoothies for us. So what happened?
Yeah, so I love this story because I tell my team all the time about failing forward, and this is definitely a fail forward moment. At the time, it was the motto internally was if a client asks you for something wellness related, you say yes, and then you figure out the how later. So there I was with your really fun list of ideas. I think it was like a trail mix bar and a smoothie demo and all of these fun things. And I'm like looking around my house and I'm like, well, I've got these great glass jars. So I think I can like fill those with the trail mix and I can like go to Costco, get a blender, figure out how to make these smoothies. And okay, how am I going to get all these things into their office? So I get one of those rolling carts and I've got like a big plastic container without a lid. I hit a road bump in the parking lot and my glass canisters go flying everywhere, shattering into a million tiny pieces. As I'm walking in, I probably have like 40 minutes to set up. But what's funny is I never told Lindsay this story when I walked in. I cleaned myself up. I got into kind of like the adapt mindset and just pulled off this event as if nothing had happened. But I, to this day, I tell my team, like, you know, we, that was how we had to get the ground running. That's how we had to establish trust. That's where we had to figure out what we could do. And it's definitely a moment where I probably bit off more than I could chew. And I said yes, and I miserably failed on figuring the, how to do it piece. But it's taught me, how to really figure out how to scale and what we're good at and what we should be saying yes to and what we should be saying no to. But I
That's
love
an
that
incredible
it took
lesson.
me like 10 years to tell you that story because I was so embarrassed.
I think it's one of the best stories I've ever heard because it just shows your resilience, your grit. And in the early days as a founder, like you're figuring things out as you go. You're also figuring out what you don't want to do, where you really want to focus on the areas that actually make sense. So
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah,
Fast forward to now. How are you celebrating 1,600 organizations that you've impacted?
yeah, it's wild. I think that we just recently started, leaning into the data that we have with all of the organizations that we're working with. And I feel so proud. I think I know I started Moreno Wellness to make an impact. I wanted to reach a lot of people. I wanted to be able to deliver much needed resources. And, the workplace being that we spend majority of our time here just is a natural place for us to have those practices of well-being and that lifestyle component integrated into just the culture of our work. And so
Yeah.
it's something that I so proudly, talk about. We celebrate internally with our team and hope to continue to grow from here.
Good. Love that. We had a quick comment. I forgot to say, if you have any questions for Carly or any comments you'd like to share, we can see them, throw them in the comment section. But establishing trust initially is such a huge component of scaling successfully. Absolutely. And I'll say trust in yourself as
Yeah.
well. Trust in your team, trust in anyone you partner with. I know we had full trust in you because this was new for me too. Like wellness at the time was definitely on the come up,
Yeah.
but not as widely talked about, which is why I wanted to have you here to talk about empowering wellness.
Yeah.
So, especially right now, I mean, we can go on a tangent, there's just so much going on. But really, how do we begin to establish wellness as a key component to any organization, any culture, really bringing it as a DNA? And why is it important? Like, why should we care about care about wellness?
Yeah. I mean, if your employees are well, your organization is well. And, I like to use the analogy of just like you as an individual. It's never recommended to do like a 7-day juice detox and then forget about your health and wellness for the rest of the year, right? It's a
Wait, that
lifestyle.
doesn't work?
No, it doesn't work. But it's about choosing the things that, you put in your body at every meal, at every snack, right? If we're just talking about nutrition, it's choosing to move your body every day. It's choosing to like maintain those physical activity levels. It's not just signing up for a 10K, doing it once and being so sore that you never want to do it again, right? And so when organizations are thinking about wellness, it's really about the health of their people, which is everything that their organization represents, right? So, embedding it into the DNA of the company is really looking through the lens of consistency.
Mm, yeah. The consistency is huge. And you brought me back to, I'm like, why did we want to do trail mix and smoothies? It's because it's all the little things and the big things that
Right.
make up wellness, right? I could bring you in once a month for a massage day, which everybody loved and was always full. But how do we really embed this consistently? How
Right.
do we make this a regular thing that people can look forward to? 10 minutes out of your day to go grab a quick healthy snack, because especially for advertising agencies, there was donuts and cookies
Right.
everywhere. So
Yep.
how do we flip that mindset and make it more consistent of what they see, what they can experience? So I'm pretty sure
Right.
that's why we talked about trail mix and smoothies. And thank
Yeah.
you for doing it.
Of course. Of course.
Oh my God, I love that. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see companies make when they think they're supporting wellness or, implementing and thinking about these programs?
Yeah, the biggest mistakes I see is that it's not a priority to the organization, and I fully get it. There are so many competing priorities. I know often it's kind of packed into that open enrollment season or into
Mm,
a national observance like mental health awareness. But similar to the lifestyle analogy I shared earlier, it's really about providing your employees with those consistent, diverse resources that cast the largest net. So you've got population specific, wellness offerings, things for like women's health or men's specific health. You've got mindfulness and meditation, stress management, mental health, nutrition and physical activity, social wellness, financial literacy. It's Our well-being is complicated, and I see a lot of companies that just maybe don't know where to start, and so they just kind of put it into like one area of the year and then sort of say, okay, we did that, we're going to move on to other things. So I would say the biggest mistake is not prioritizing.
yeah, not prioritizing. You said something else in there too, that our well-being is complicated. What works for me isn't going to work for Carly, isn't going to work for anyone watching. We all need to have our own mix of what does wellness look like. One
Mhm.
thing I love to talk about in some of my programs is building this like self-care toolbox of what are the things are going to lift you up, because we tend to think like we don't have time for self-care. There's no time. How am I supposed to fit this in? And, one thing I also want to share what you just said of it's not a one time a month or one time a year. Like
Right.
Mental Health Awareness Day is not the only time we should be calling Carly or other wellness partners, right? Like it's probably when you see a spike probably for your organization, but mental health, physical health, emotional health matters year round.
Exactly.
Um, Speaking of kind of flagship months, I want to jump to this question because it is Hispanic Heritage Month. And, this is when we do tend to talk about, like, all of a sudden, I'm seeing my LinkedIn flood with Hispanic Heritage posts. But for me, one thing that I've been really focused on, especially with the year we've been having, is prioritizing wellness, which isn't something a lot of Hispanic folks do. We're told, like, you suck it up, you figure it out. And in my work, I've realized that that's also not unique to Hispanics and Latinos. It's really across various cultures, various backgrounds, various races of you just tough it out. For some folks, therapy is not a thing. You don't even talk about it. Wellness is not a thing. So how can companies create this kind of culture of belonging that whatever your background is, whatever you tend to believe, like wellness matters here, helping raise that awareness of why people should take the 2 minutes to take a break, 10 minutes to, breathe in between meetings. Why should we prioritize that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it starts with the leadership, right? I think you have this investment in bringing these much needed resources, programs, activations to your employee population and walking the walk, right? So here
Mm,
at Rhino Wellness, we really support taking your exercise breaks. Like we'll drop in our chats, like, hey, what are you doing to move your body today? And, I often
mm,
start the conversation by saying, I took a walk, on my lunch break, as an example, just to kind of show to your team, like, hey, not only do we embody this with our brand, but it's something that we practice every day. And so, in addition to that, as the HR team that is implementing this program, you and I were talking about this a little bit earlier today, like this benefit is for you as well. And with the right vendor, this should be something that is not on your plate, that is being professionally managed, so that you can be a recipient of the experience. You can sign up for that massage break. You can show up to that mindfulness class. You can learn, about better coping skills in that mental health talk, as an example. And so it's kind of building into your day what your lifestyle self-care toolkit, what your practices are that are going to help you feel your best, and allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to put your wellness first, because if you're well, you're going to be able to show up for your team in such a better way.
Yeah. And I will thoughtfully call in all the HR leaders, not going to call you out, but you know who you are, where you're like, I put these programs on, they're for everyone else, not for me. They're for us too. We're employees too. We need to take care of ourselves first. There's a reason they say put your oxygen mask on. I remember in those moments, like I made sure that everybody had scheduled their massages. Everyone was going to the classes until somebody asked me, like, Lindsay, aren't you joining? I'm like, yes,
I think I even called you out on some of those. Like, here's the sign-up sheet. Didn't see your name on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that HR folks are so used to doing, right? Like we're very much, how do I recognize everyone else? How do I celebrate and take care of everyone else? But if we're not okay, if we're not taking care of ourselves first, in whatever role you're in, leader, founder of companies, wherever, if you're not taking care of yourself first, all of this is for nothing, right? We need to make sure we're all, I love what you said, kind of the visibility of here's what I did to take care of myself. It could be as simple, I went on a walking meeting with my team. I, took a 5-minute break in between meetings. It doesn't have to be, again, a week-long meditation retreat. It could be 5 minutes in your day. And I know you have 5 minutes in your day to prioritize yourself.
Yes. I do see a question in the comments here
Yeah.
asking, how does wellness help combat burnout? And there's so much research around resiliency and mindfulness and stress management to prevent burnout. Burnout being sort of that sustained high stress level. Any practice that you do that sort of brings your heart rate down and helps you feel more grounded and calming is going to support burnout. So like Lindsay mentioned, if you have that self-care toolkit, like for me, I do that box breathing exercise a lot. I have it on my desk, just a quick, kind of reset. Sometimes I just shut my screen off and take like a 10-minute break from the screen, and I'll go downstairs and have a snack or a glass of water. I'm often drinking like a big Stanley of water, just to make sure that I'm hydrating myself. I'm, getting in my regular physical activity. Adults or all of us are adults like we listening on here. We should be getting about 30 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity each day. And that can be broken into 10-minute bouts to be just as effective as those longer bouts on the treadmill. So I'll take a walk up the block for 10 minutes, morning, midday, noon, when I know I've got a ton of calls and I don't have the opportunity to go to the gym before I pick my kids up from school, for example. So all of those little lifestyle adjustments are going to just bring you down, make you just have a greater sense of well-being and help prevent burnout.
I love so many pieces of what you just said. Two really stood out to me. One is you have all of this to prevent burnout. You don't need to seek this when you're already burned out, right? The whole point of avoiding burnout is making sure that you're implementing these tiny lifestyle changes. Again, take the week-long silent meditation. That's awesome. But literally a form of self-care is I have tea in front of me, right? Less than 5 minutes. What is one simple intentional thing that you can do for yourself to, lower the heart rate, breathe a few seconds. Yeah. It's funny because I have this, I'm going to have you validate it too, because I have one sheet where it's just 10-minute self-care ideas that I love to share in my programs, because I never want to hear people say I don't have time for self-care.
Right. Well, I always say there's 1,440 minutes in the day. So can you carve out, 30 for yourself? in any way. That could be like a long bath. It could be reading a book. It could be, I love like spraying lavender and just like breathing in the aromatherapy. That just
Mhm.
brings me a sense of calm, and it doesn't take time at all. So there
Yeah.
are a lot of things that you can integrate for a more
Yeah.
well balanced lifestyle.
Good. And all the ideas you shared, the
Mhm.
walk, the aromatherapy from, yeah, I have a lot of the similar ones, right? Walking my dog in the morning is a ritual. Podcasts are a ritual for me. Find the thing that works for you. Again,
Yep.
we may have things that overlap, but my wellness toolkit and self-care toolkit is very different than Carly's, very different than yours, whoever's
Right.
watching, right?
Yep.
So be aware of it. What are the
Yep.
things that you're going to pull out of this toolbox when you're like, why am I so heightened? Maybe
Mhm.
you need to just take a walk before you
Yeah.
jump into that finance meeting right
Yes.
now.
Or just like do a guided meditation just to get your feet on the ground. Conversations, right?
Yeah. It's funny you say that because with meditation, I hear this a lot. Like it feels to some very, distant, different than anything, especially for a lot of Hispanic folks, like I mentioned, like it's not a thing we do. But I'm like, you guys, meditation is literally just breathing.
Yeah.
You do it already.
Yeah.
So it's slowing down, it's
Intentional.
breathing.
Yep.
Start there.
Yep. I love it.
Awesome. Um, Other question. If you could wave a magic wand right now, like you could help any organization really shift to create workplaces to be, I mean, I think let me back up because workplaces right now, we can talk about what's going on. Like there's just so much mistrust, lack of trust, fear in organizations, confusion in organizations. There's just a lot going on. But if you could wave a magic wand, what's one shift you wish more organizations would make right now to really create that workplace that where people can thrive and feel like they can authentically thrive?
Yeah, I think it's consistency. I think, building a culture of wellness doesn't happen overnight. You could take that one step to, ask yourself, what have we done for wellness lately? And
Mhm.
maybe try to get something, going, something small. We have a guide that includes a ton of like low cost, no cost solutions. So anybody listening today, if budget is restrictive or it's more of just like a time bandwidth thing, there are so many ways that you can arm your leaders to be more intentional and to create that culture of well-being. And there's things that can cost you little to nothing to start making the culture of wellness rise within your organization. And I think that employees really look to leadership to set the tone. And when there's that consistency around their well being a priority, you start to see a lot of positives come of that. And that's within, a range of things that you can do, whether it's, sending we did this fun initiative where we sent everybody on the team a book called Breathe, which just has like these self-guided meditations, for example, um, or providing scripts for leaders to open up a meeting with a guided meditation that they can just read to the group, just to
Mm.
kind of give them a little moment of mindfulness. We call them like minutes of mindfulness. So if I could wave a magic wand, it would be that shift to just take that first step towards prioritizing wellness for your organization.
I love that. And I love that you mentioned, some teams are strapped for budget. So who do you work with? Is it small companies, big companies where we tend to think that they have the money for these types of programs? Who are your
Yeah.
clients?
Yeah, so our clients are mainly mid to large companies, but we do work with companies of all sizes. We try to make our entry point affordable for everyone, and we do see a range of budgets. Just depending on if there's if it's self-funded or it's something that you might be getting some wellness credits from your carrier, for example. But yeah, there's a lot of solutions in place. I'll say if you have the right vendor in place, again, they should be doing the heavy lifting and taking the burden off of you to implement their programs, and lean on us, lean on those wellness vendors, because we're the experts on this topic. So you don't have to understand wellness or know what are the right impactful programs. We have a wonderful white paper that we just published this year that shares what the trends are of the hundreds of organizations we supported last year, and we'll help you. I think that's the biggest piece is, yeah, don't try to go at it on your own, because that's where we see our HR partners getting stuck. It's like, oh, I don't even know where to start. I've got all this feedback from my team. I'm overwhelmed. I've got a million other things I'm juggling, but yeah, lean on the right vendors, and we're here to help you.
I love that. And I'm half laughing and smiling because I'm like, if you happen to be first gen or HR in general, we tend to have this mentality and this belief that we can do it ourselves and we can figure it out. And how hard could it be to put these wellness events together, and we'll do it once a year, and HR tries to do it themselves a lot of times, or leaders if they don't have HR, right? But there is so much value in understanding what works, how to remain consistent. Don't just focus on the one-off. How do you really build this into your culture? Because I will share that some people felt like, can I go to these events? What are my managers going to think? Is it okay to step away from my desk? And the more you create this consistency of, yes, we know that you need these 10 minutes so you can come back more creative, more thoughtful, more energetic, calm after that meeting, right? That's where that shift really happens. So if you're considering partnering with an outside vendor, because you have a lot on your plate already, HR leader, Carly's your girl.
I'd love to help you.
Awesome. All righty. Our time is flying, which is so crazy, but couple things. When people want to connect with you, how do they find you? How do they reach you?
Yeah, you can email me directly at carly@marinawellness.com. It's CARLY @marinawellness.com. For anybody who's listening today, I've got a lot of fantastic resources that I'd love to share with you, including our guide to your high impact open enrollment season. That's a really relevant one as we're all sort of stepping into that planning mode. Lots of fun stuff there. I'll give a shout out to my teammate Delaney, who put this amazing guide together. And we'd love to share that with you, as well as our white paper. We also have some great case studies. So please just reach out, if anything, just for your own education. And then, of course, if you are in a boat where you have expiring wellness credits, or you're looking to come up with a consistent strategy for 2026, we would love to help you. I have a team of wellness specialists that are so talented. They are there to be your fractional wellness support so that you can really trust that your program is going to be impactful, and you can set it free, let it go. The lift, I can tell you, is really light, a lot, especially with some of our popular programs where we do a quarterly planning, and then you can set it free, but you can know you're going to have that consistent momentum going into 2026. But I encourage everybody to reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
And the compliments I would get for bringing Carly in, you guys, it's worth it. Curious too, because this is funny. Like you mentioned the wellness credits. I feel like hopefully most people know they have that, but do you feel like there's awareness that you already have this budget probably built in already?
Yeah, I think what we find a lot, mostly September, October, November conversations every year, is I have these wellness dollars and they're going to expire at the end of my plan year or my fiscal year. So those 9/30 or 12/31 dates. And that's where we typically see sort of this push for, we need to use it all right now, right? Where we, again, with the magic wand, would encourage our groups to spread out that consistent resource. And again, we're here to support, but we can definitely help with those kind of year-end pushes. But yeah, I would say 90% of the conversations I have are rooted in, I have these wellness dollars, they're going to expire. Help me not lose this benefit. And so that's something we can definitely help with as well.
And good reminder to spread it out throughout the year, because this is probably one of the busiest times of year for so many people, and they might be a little checked out, or again, feeling like they don't have time for wellness. But if we can front load and have people really manage their wellness throughout the year, we can avoid burnout. We can avoid all of these feelings of crashing at the end of the year, which I know a lot of people are already feeling,
right.
And just maintain that high level of wellness. Empower wellness in your organizations throughout the year, not just now. I love this. And for anyone listening, we will put Carly's contact information in the chat. And on my side, really quickly, if we happen to have any HR friends listening, I am doing a totally free event for you to celebrate National HR Day, because I know you don't know how to celebrate yourself for the most part. And we're focusing on balance and boundaries, because I also know a lot of us in HR don't have any. So want to just take a moment to recognize you, celebrate you, join me. I'll put the link in the comments as well. And if you have questions for either myself or for Carly, keep the conversation going, throw them in the comment section and we'll happily answer. Carly, it's been a gift to have you here with me. I was so excited. I know we talked about this months ago and I was like, I need to catch up with you, first of all. Second of all, celebrate how much you helped me when I was in HR. And I'm so excited that you get to help others now too. So
well,
I love
thank
the work
you.
you're doing.
Thank you for trusting me in those early days. Yeah, it's really fun, full circle moment, right?
It really is. Like now we see each other as two kind of founders coming into like adjacent to the HR space. Very different.
I love it. It's fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Good to see you. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.